Darc and Moody, Moody and Darc. It's been real from the start. Speak the truth, then you playing your part. Nothing fake here. We've been real since daycare. Some change, some stay there. Came from the streets, we speak for the streets, we speak for the youth. Nothing but truth. Feel it in the booth, feel it in your soul, feel it in the cell, feel it on parole, feel it on probation, feel it when you free, totally free. Pardon me, till they pardon me, till they pardon we. Positivity from negativity, back to positivity. The podcast for the streets, helping you eat. We live by the code, we live what we speak. We revolutionize real love, honor, respect, loyalty, educating the masses, bringing unity. It's all or nothing. The podcast for you and me is Darc and Moody. We the voices of the community.
I hear voices right now. I can hear them just as plain as day.
Yeah. What up? This your boy Darc.
And it's your boy D Moody, man.
You know what I'm saying? Darc and Moody, all or nothing. Know what I mean? You see who we got here today, man. If y'all don't know, you know what I mean? We got Ray Boyd in the building, Ray C. You know what I'm saying? What's it? Rason Allah?
Rason Allah.
Rason Allah, you know what I'm saying? Got the brother in the building, man. Talk to us, man.
Good, man. I appreciate you brothers for, hollering at me and wanting me to come, and then share this time with y'all in the space with y'all, man.
Let me tell you that we appreciate you. We appreciate you for, coming up and taking your time out to support us.
Word up, man. Yeah, this is the early stages. We still in the infancy. You know what I mean? Trying to make this thing big, global. You know what I mean?
Stand up, man.
CT.
Support your authors, support your black business owners, support your youth. We here.
You know what I mean? We here to stay, man. We're going to turn this shit into something crazy. It's going to be monstrous, man. You know what I mean? And when we get them followers all the way up, Ray C going to be back, man. You know what I mean? We gonna give them that. You know what I mean? We're going to give them that, man. Word up.
So we're gonna talk to my boy Ray, man. We're gonna let him tell you the story, man, of his life, how he became who he is today, who he was then and who he is today.
Word up.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So talk to us, man. Tell everybody where you from. First and foremost, we gotta get that out the way. Let them know where you're from.
I grew up in the hill section.
We need everything. We need everything. We need people to know what state, the city, the section.
New Haven, Connecticut,
money craving,
the hill, pistol, money craving all day, every day.
Yeah, man.
I'm in the hill, man, and
where you at, bro? Where you at?
Just. The hill,
we had a lot. It's been a lot of IB dudes on this stage. There's been a lot of IB dudes in this stage.
Yeah.
We got some hill dudes here today.
Yeah. I mean, everybody got to wait their turn. You can't force the sun to shine before it's time. You know what I'm saying? So people just got to be patient and wait their turn, man. I mean, you brothers had to put the IB dudes first. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the foundation of what you're building here. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Secondary is most necessary from what I'm told. So
nah. See, that's an IB dude. This is a hill dude right here.
Oh, you a hill dude? I thought you was an everywhere dude.
No,
I'm
a Davenport Avenue.
The roots.
There you go. I'm a Davenport Avenue, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
The tree got many branches, but the roots, and that's like pretty much with my foundation. Like I'm from the hill, but I've claimed the jungle because I ran with jungle dudes. You know what I'm saying? My brother-in-law was jungle dudes. My sister did fed time for the jungle. You know what I'm saying? Certain family members was indicted when they were indicted in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? I was looked at for being indicted, but I was up against a murder charge at the same time. So.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that. Man, let's talk to the people. Tell them what schools you went to, man. We won't go there. Man. We want to go to elementary school. Tell us about that.
I'm old school. I went to elementary. I did my elementary at Welch Jennings, but I started at Welch first, which is a rehab now. I mean, a methadone clinic on Congress and Vernon and Ward, right there. That was Welch School. Then I went over to Welch Jennings, which is on Prince Street.
What years did they go up to? What's that?
Before it was K through 5th at that time. Now they got a lot of schools that's going K through 8. It was K through 5th. And then I went to Prince for my 4th and 5th grade year, which is right across the street from Welch Annex in the Hill.
Any teachers stand out that you remember from back then?
One teacher, Mr. George, I was my dude. He always was, casket sharp when he was dressed every day. The shiny shoes and suits and shirts. He never came to work looking like he was out of place.
Yeah. So
that
shout out to George, man. Mr. George, man.
Mr. George. Yo, hopefully Mr. George still around.
He probably not.
That was like in the 80s when he was in that class.
Nah, that was before then.
That was the 70s?
That was the 70s. That was 70s. Word up.
70s.
All right, where we at now, man? We 4th, 5th grade. That's going. We in 6th.
So I got in the 6th grade, man. Was like that was a turning point for me because at the same time I was, getting into the 6th grade. At the same time I was being introduced to the streets. I was coming off the porch. You know what I'm saying? And started dipping and dabbling in illicit activities like, just looking out for brothers or running to the store for brothers that I looked up to. So, I was just being introduced into that culture at the same time. So the 6th grade was pretty much a challenge for me. Then, 7th grade was just like, I was there, but I wasn't learning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was present, but I wasn't learning at that time, Just when I went to school, period, like, I knew that I was an inquisitive kid, so I always used to inquire from the teachers. But at the same time, that was a gift and a curse for me because I didn't see a lot of other kids in my class being as inquisitive as I was. So I used to challenge myself to think that I wasn't as smart as I thought I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody else I thought had it because they didn't ask any questions. But that's neither here nor there now.
Yeah, well, got some. This is gonna be kids probably watching this, man. What you guys say? What you guys say to them about asking questions?
For the youth and education is a passion of mine now. So for the youth and education, man, always ask your teacher. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Yeah. Always ask your teacher a question. Always ask your mother or your father or who's ever your parent in the home a question when you're doing your homework. There's no such thing as a dumb question. The dumb question is always the question that's never asked.
The problem I be having on Ray is being home, and we both came home around the same time. You was home before me a little bit. It'll be something that I don't understand. It'll be simple to the rest of the world. I'd be like, somebody told me to Google it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how you Google?
Yeah,
it sounds stupid. Like you don't know how to Google. No, I don't know how to Google. Mm-hmm. How you Google?
Yeah, you click on.
There's no Google in jail.
There's no Google in jail.
Yeah. So I always ask questions. I'll be like, "Yo, how you do it? How you do it?"
Yeah. And that's important. That's very important to have. Be computer illiterate or become computer illiterate. How do you do that after spending so many decades behind the prison walls? I mean, for me, the transition was similar to yours, coming home after spending 30 years of incarceration. But, I navigated. I used to stay up at night.
Say that one more time. How many, what?
30 years of incarceration, man. 30 years.
30 joints.
And I came home, and as soon as I came home, one of the things I went to the Apple store. I bought a laptop. I bought a phone. I bought everything Apple, and I just start sitting at home and just playing with it, man. Playing with it, trying to learn it. And there's a lot of things that I still don't know to this day that, but I'm not afraid to ask.
And to this day, how long is to this day? Like, how long you been home right now?
I've been home 13 months on the 15th of this month. I've been home 13 months on the 15th of this month.
Word up, man.
Definitely.
I found this on the
So,
web.
Yeah.
That's Siri tapping in.
Definitely. And I want the viewers to know how much of a man that Ray is, how much he's helpful. When I was in prison, I was going up for parole, and he just got his, and he sent me his statement. The statement that he wrote. He's like, "Yo, here you go, Moody. This is what I wrote. You might want to format it different from how I'm writing it on your story, but this is what I presented to the panel, and I appreciate that. I still got it.
Yeah.
I pass it around.
No question.
That's freedom. I said, Ray wrote this, and Ray was released.
Yeah.
And the
This is
reason why I
freedom.
shared,
That's the template. That's the
This the
template.
template.
But but the reason why I shared it with so many brothers because I lived this life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know how uncomfortable it can be. And I don't ever want to see nobody in that situation and going through those many trials and tribulations that we had to go through while we was in there, man. So, giving it to good brothers, knowing that you a good judge of character and you know that the people that you passionate to deserve that opportunity, why not?
Big facts.
Why
Big
not?
Facts.
So bring back to them streets. We in the 6th, 7th grade. Where we
Yeah,
at, Darc?
we in the 8th grade now.
he just
Let's go to the 8th
I
grade.
never made it to the 8th grade. I
Know
made
what
it to the
I'm saying?
7th grade, and I got busted with 2.5 ounces of cocaine in the 7th grade, man. And
what year was that?
I was like 80. That was like 86.
Yeah.
86. I went away to the lane.
What cottage?
I was in Pratt. I was in Pratt A. You probably was a Fabrique.
Already.
I know
Fabrique.
FAB, UE. That's all you have to
Fabrique.
run around the
Fabrique.
He repped
Y'all next door to us.
He repped it hard.
Yeah,
he
rep
repped
hard. Because them Pratt dudes, they next door. They think they had all the chicks and all that.
And we did, Pratt.
Russell.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They must pick the dudes to go in Pratt specifically.
Yeah.
Nah.
Because for Pratt was like the honor society. Everything in there. It was like, remember how people used to be saying the Fed was like country club back in the days.
Tell them what Long Lane
Pratt
is.
Was
People might not know.
Long Lane was a
is.
juvenile school for adolescents in Middletown, Connecticut at that time when they ain't had no fence.
No fence. It was like a college campus.
Yeah, you just got hedges out front. When you want to run, you just jump across the hedges and see how far away you can get.
Yeah.
How
many times you ran?
I ran once, man, and I was successful because I stayed out that whole time.
Never came back.
They
still looking for you.
They're still looking for me because they never caught me. They never caught me.
He got caught. I know he got caught. You got caught.
Listen, after the show, I'm gonna call my mother. I walked from Middletown, made it home. My mother turned me in.
Yeah.
Huh?
And then I ran again. I got caught. I was 16. No, I was in a unit. They brought me up top. I ran again. I had a fight with LaChapelle. I said, if I punch you in the face, where would I go? That's how ignorant I was. I'm in the Hartford County.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not realizing there's counties. So I'm thinking I'm going to Welly Avenue. I ended up going to Hartford. I went to what's that street? Morgan Street.
Yeah. Morgan Street.
I think they shut that down now. So I went there. I was like, I'm supposed to go to New Haven.
Yeah.
They said, nah, you're in Middletown. You're going to this county.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, come get me, man.
Yeah.
I can't be here. I'm too little.
Yeah. All right, so you ran, never came back. You know what I mean? And talk to us. What was that journey like after that?
Oh man, it was lovely. I actually came home I ran on a 2-hour day pass, believe it or not.
Yeah. Oh, so you ain't running.
It was simple. He was on a day pass.
I did because I was so tired, but I wanted a secure ride home. I knew once I got to my backyard, I knew my way
You ain't
around.
hit the fence.
I ain't had
the hedges. You ain't hit the hedges.
Nah, he did a smart. He was a smart runner.
Oh, he was a smart runner.
Yeah.
He's educated. He's like, when you come pick me up, we're gonna go to the store.
Yeah.
And on that last 30 minutes, I'm gonna make a decision.
You know, when you get a 2-hour day pass, you're supposed to stay in the city of Middletown. Just go shopping and eating.
Yeah.
So my pops back then, my pops was, in the streets back then, and he had a 735, a blue drink with peanut butter interior, and I was telling him like, yo, listen, I don't want to go shop. Just come get me. And all the money I had on my books, I'm like, yo, you can have this. Just take me to the house right quick. See the family. I'll get some clothes while I'm there. And then you can bring me back. I said, take you a half hour to get to the town. I'll stay at the house for an hour and a half hour to get me back. He said, all right, cool. And when he bought me, once I got out of the car, I went to the block. It was over.
Yeah.
He pulled up on me with my mom in the car. I was like, get in the car. I said, I ain't going back to that place.
Yeah.
And he looked at my mom, was like, yo, you heard him? And she was like, yeah. And he pulled off, and I stayed here. But I left with like 2 weeks. My co-defendant from when I got busted with the 2.5 ounces was going to school in Morgan State in Baltimore. So I moved down to Baltimore.
All right.
And I was down in Baltimore for a good year.
All right.
Good year doing that, doing some things down there.
How old was you at this time?
Damn, I was about 15 at this time, 14, 15, going on 15 at this time. I fucked around in Baltimore, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Portsmouth, really, and Springfield, Massachusetts, and of course, the town, you know.
And for people who don't know, how was that transition from coming from the wild city of New Haven to another wild place like Baltimore? How was it? How did you fit in?
Well, it depends. Like, well, we always stood out in Baltimore because when I was there, it was the 80s, of course. And then the 80s, it was always a distinction between New York. Everything from the north, people down south thought was from New York. We tell people we from Connecticut.
They like New
They
York.
act like it was a fifth borough that we never knew about. And they're like, yo, you still from New York? You still from? I'm like, nah, we from Connecticut.
I've been through that.
Beyond New York.
North Carolina,
You know
I've been through that. I've been through that. Yeah.
So, you know, the women, that was hot then. So we had mad Gucci, Fendi, Louis suits down there. We had the vehicles with the MCM and the Gucci in it. And we was on the college campus. And man, every year down there when I was there, because I got to see 2 freshman classes come in. It's like 3,000 females to like 1,200 males.
Yeah.
And every year, like,
how many babies you had down there? What happened?
I'm off the clock with babies. I got 1 seed, man, and a possible.
You know what I'm saying?
I got 1 seed, my son, man.
So you got the ace of spade, and you got like a ace of heart, but you got 7 hearts.
But I enjoyed Baltimore when I was down there, man, because I had my little fake ID back then, and was doing my thing in the clubs and hanging out with the fellas, my boys and them that was down there. So it was good for me.
Yeah. Any of them dudes kept in touch? You kept in touch with them?
Most definitely. I kept in touch with my co-defendant. We good friends to this day. Yeah. You know, give it that he's several years my senior, but throughout my whole bit, I've been in contact with him, and we still hang out.
The Cody on the case that you did the 34?
Nah, the Cody I did the 2.5 ounces for that I went to Juvenile.
Yeah.
He went to college. He took probation and went to Morgan State.
Facts.
And I went to Juvenile.
Yeah.
You know.
Boom. Wow.
So we talked about just now as you got into the streets.
Yeah.
About 6th grade, and not to spoil it for anybody in the book. When you read the book, you talked about if you would have known what you know now, as far as being an author, that you could pen a book.
Yeah.
Like if you know what you know now, when that 6th grade person came, stored them 2.5 ounces, what would you tell yourself? What would you say to yourself now?
Oh well, shit! I definitely would have chose a better path for myself.
Because money went to college.
Money, true indeed. He went to college. But at the same time, like I told you, I was dealing with I would say there was self-esteem issues in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? With feeling insufficient with my studies. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't think I was getting it because I was inquisitive with the teacher all the time. But
let me ask you this real quick. What was your grades like? What they look like at that time?
My grades wasn't really suffering, but they were, because I believe that the school system was failing us. Yeah. So, you know, by design, if we look at the school system now, we know that the school system played a role in mass incarceration. You know what I'm saying? And to my point is when I became incarcerated, I was tested at Walker Reception Center, and I was a 7th grade dropout, and I was reading on a 3rd or 4th grade level. It's scientifically proven today that if you're reading on a 3rd or 4th grade level in middle school, that you will end up in the penitentiary at some point in your adult life.
Yeah. And who did that study? Who we could tell the people about that? So
I mean, you Google it.
Yeah, Google. Moody don't know how to Google yet.
Oh, I'm not a Google now. I'm not a Google.
Moody can't Google yet, man.
I'm not a Google.
I mean, it's out there. It's out there. People know about it,
now.
and I mean, that's why you got so many people trying to fight to end mass incarceration, because they know that mass incarceration was by design. I won't say somewhat by design, but it was by design.
Yeah, I was an honor student.
Mm-hmm.
Still wound up in the bank. Still made those choices. So it's bigger than that, but that does play a role.
Most definitely. I mean, it's bigger than that.
Criminals.
When we grow and developmentally, we still try to say that, you know, our adolescent self, that we were adults at our adolescent ages.
We thought we were.
So we think that the choices, the decisions that we make, we lived with them, or we had to make them because that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But again, there's a science that proves that, listen, we didn't do the risk assessment. because had you known that, well, your story's a different story because you was exonerated. But take someone like myself, had I known that if I took a man's life, I was going to spend 50 years, would I take that man's life?
Big facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And chances are high you wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that goes back to when I was coming up, you know, I was only given 2 trajectories in life. People were always around me, always told me that, yo, you're going to end up in prison. You're going to end up dead by the time you're 21. Remember, that was the theme song of the 80s.
That was the theme song. Yeah.
So if you only got 2 trajectories in life that's manifested to you, which one you going to take? Nobody wants to die. So you're going to take on the role of saving yourself, right? So in saving yourself, you're going to say, yo, I'm not giving nobody the opportunity to do anything to me before I do something to them. Right? Which ultimately leads you to the penitentiary. But there's no one around us that positive peer pressure to say, you know what, somebody gave you 2 trajectories, but there's a 3rd trajectory in life. You can become an honor student. You can go to college. You can become anything you want to be in this world. You see what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But we don't have those positive role models in our community to give us that information.
All right. Yo, what, in your opinion, what pointed you towards the direction of being in the streets, hustling? What pointed you in that direction?
I'm one of 9 kids. You know what I'm saying? And in my childish mind, I thought that what my mother and father was providing me wasn't enough. I wanted a little bit more. You know, we go to school, you know, just before school started at the beginning of the year, you go shopping and you get your school clothes, you get your 2-3 pair of sneakers. Well, for me, that wasn't enough.
But you got 3 pairs.
I got 3 pairs of sneakers.
You got more than me.
You know, I probably got more than the average kid in my block because my grandmother, my grandfather loved me. I'm the oldest child on my father's side. I'm the oldest grandchild.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That make a difference a lot of times.
Yeah, I got an aunt that never had any kids. That's a retired retired lieutenant colonel in the United States Army.
Yeah.
So I was her son. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no trip that I hadn't been on as an adolescent. Wherever she was stationed, I was there. You know what I'm saying?
So you had food on your table.
Sometimes.
Clothes on your back.
Sometimes.
And shelter.
I have food, clothes, and shelter. But back then again, with food, when you're dealing with food, you came to the table at dinner or you came to the table at lunch. Wasn't no snacks in between. Because Mom Dukes went shopping to put food on the table for the kids for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Facts.
Wasn't no in between. Wasn't no whole bunch of lunch meat or sliced turkey and cheese in there with loaves of bread where you can go make sandwiches. Every once in a while, of course, she'll throw you a couple of dollars. You can run to the store and get a sub. But me, I wanted to be able to provide for myself and do those things for myself because I thought that was something that I was lacking. So, you go to the store for a dude give you $20 to go to the store just to get a quart of water and a sub until you keep the change.
Yeah.
You run back to the store with you and your little mans and you get a sub, you split it with him, you get 2 quart waters, he get one, you get one, and you throw the rest of the quarters in the video game.
It ain't happening now, bro. You spend that $20 to get 1 sub.
Of course, it's not happening now.
And you might get a half a bag of chips.
You got to ask yourself, if it's not happening now, right, because of the money's not there now out in society, in the drug trade, how are the young boys being solicited into these activities? How are you being introduced into these activities? You know, it's because it's not how it was when we were growing up.
It's a lot different.
It's a whole lot different.
A whole lot different.
So you ask, how do you come off a porch to a phone in the car?
And a pair of Jordans.
Yeah. So somebody's telling them a lie and they believe in it, but how are they believing it? And who's telling them these lies?
You think it go back to school, education?
It go back to education. Because once you pushed out of school, you ain't got no way but to stay on the streets. You got to spend those hours away from home until mommy come home from either mommy's already at home on Section 8 of welfare or mommy working a job under the table. And you know what I'm saying? So you probably run around the house, or if she is working, trying to take care of y'all, you got to stay out the house until she come home.
All right.
You don't want no neighbors to see you in the house and tell on you or none of that. So,
all right. So moms and pops, right? Growing up the way you did, it was 9 siblings in your house?
Yes. It was more than that because I got 6 biological brothers and 3 sisters.
All right. So it's 10 of y'all.
There's 10 of us.
Yeah.
And then we got cousins that come over and stay. And we got friends that might have got kicked out and ain't got no place to stay and come stay with us. You know what I'm saying? So
Mom's was a single parent in this, or it was two parents?
Mom's was a single parent until her and my father broke up, probably about when I was about 12, 13. When I started.
You think that played a part?
No doubt, because Pops wasn't home, wasn't nobody to govern me there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I always was a bigger kid, and I always hung out with dudes that was older than me. So, it wasn't nobody there to govern me. And my introduction to the street, I started going to the table for dudes, really. And then I wanted to bring some of my friends, and they wouldn't allow my friends, so I had to make a way for my friends to eat. So I used to knock a couple things off the table every now and then, go home, read back, and give them to my friends, and tell them to bring that money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just learned my way up top and started going up top and doing my own thing.
How old was you when you did that?
Man, my first trip to the city, I drove up there, I think I was 13. And sometimes I still take that same route because it's the easiest route.
Yeah.
I see when you wrote
last exit in New York.
When you wrote about the nucleus, the
nuke spot, 113.
And I remember going to cop and bringing it down, selling it for 10, and the Crazy Eddie. The Crazy Eddie.
Nuclear spot was the spot everybody went there.
Now, when the Crazy Eddie spot was on Congress, that was my spot.
Crazy.
And Sheila
good spot. Good spot.
You know, them dudes used to literally
you touched that stuff?
What, the Eddie? I was 92. I stopped though. I was like a year.
Yeah, so you was getting it from me.
Yeah, I was Eddie out. Purple Rain, Eddie, Beyond Fear, Milk.
Yeah.
That was all you?
Nah, I just had Crazy Eddie.
Crazy Eddie had the man.
Yeah, I remember the Crazy Eddie days.
Oh,
I never touched it.
You know people.
Yeah, I know people.
If I knew that, I would have bought my Crazy Eddie shirt. I got a yellow and black.
They don't new shirt. You gotta be 40 or better to know what Crazy Eddie is.
Yeah. Word up.
I just had my man make it for me in Rhode Island.
So when you was running, your teenage years, you in the hill, who
you looked up to in the game?
Who I looked up to? My idols in the game was my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Lopez Jones from the Jungle. My brother-in-law, Mark, my brother-in-law. Carter, of course, he was down there with them. You know what I'm saying? I had other my sister's boyfriend. He was from the 90s in Brooklyn, but he was moving crazy weight. So, I had my dealings with him. There was a lot of some old school cats that I knew because I'm from the Hill, born and raised. So you got dudes like Fat Daddy and One Eye Pete, and these are old school dudes that just used to stand up dudes used to be on Congress Avenue when it was called the Congo. When the only two drug spots in New Haven was Congress Avenue and Dixwell Avenue, these was the dudes.
Yeah. And what you learned from them, like what influences you learned from them that you still use to this day, if any?
Influences? Well, nah, because I try to I read this book when I was in prison, and the book was called The Streets Lied and We Believe. And what it was talking about is how we get indoctrinated to the streets and how the perpetuation of a lie is what we're being fed.
Yeah.
Right? And we believe that. But there's so many elements that's being left out. So things that I try to learn from the street, I just try to, of course, you can't get it out of your head, but I try to avoid acting upon some of those things, because sometimes you may bump into an issue and you may want to revert back to who you were in the street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's handling things like an ass as opposed to handling things based upon your intelligence and your reasoning.
Facts. What about street codes that people live by? How you feel about that? How you feel about certain codes, written codes, unwritten codes? How you feel about that?
Well, I mean, the street codes are what they are. If you live in the culture, you should live by them, but everybody don't live by them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We know that's an actual fact. And we have to ask ourselves, do street codes really exist?
But do they matter? Do they matter to you?
Oh, yes, most definitely they matter to me. They matter to me. Of course, we don't like the rat and stuff like that. Nobody wants to be around somebody that's going to tell on them. street codes. We got faggots as thugs. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Some people don't like homosexuals. Then, like when I was in prison, I always see dudes. I thought, dudes didn't like dudes that told, but I think dudes just pick and choose who they want to deal with at what time, what given time they want to deal with the person.
There you go.
You know what
there
I'm
you
saying?
go.
Yeah.
You say the same thing that I said. Me and Darc have a discussion. Boy, Darc, you find out you're done. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm saying that we can't pick and choose. The other dudes pick and choose out there. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, this person, but I'd be like, that person right there that you buddy with.
But that's my man.
Is doing the same thing that
he
doing.
Tell on me, so he good. That's how some people. And so you got to ask yourself, is that the culture? Or has the culture shifted so much that this is the new culture? Because it's acceptable.
In your opinion, is this the new culture?
I believe so, because this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And as things evolve, you have to be a witness of what's taking place in front of you.
I'm from the old culture. I still
Oh, no question.
If I had if my mama was in the streets, if my mother was in the streets and she told something, I can't deal with her.
Okay.
But if my mom
So
if my mother was in the streets and she told something, I couldn't rock with her.
And she was cooking dinner, and she said,
I wouldn't eat it.
She said, Darc is dinner time.
I wouldn't eat it.
Because how everybody's moving now, right?
Hold on, let me finish this. If my mom wasn't in the streets, never did anything, none of that,
citizen,
and she's a citizen, and she did that, then she's we all right.
She got a right
good money.
to
I don't got a problem with them kind of people.
Right.
That's their right. I don't have a problem with somebody who never did illegal activity, doing their right, picking up the phone, calling 911. If you choose to do that, that's what you choose.
But
so I used to question dudes in prison when we used to run the skills and socialization program, right? And that was a program that was geared towards getting brothers right, going back out into the community so they don't have to recidivate. But I always used to tell them everybody wants to be a business owner, right? So I said, hypothetically, if you owned a store, right, coming from the streets, you came from the streets, you got out, you made it successfully, you own a store, your store get robbed in your neighborhood. Do you pick up a gun and go try to find the dudes that rob you, or do you call the police and report the crime and then report what was taken to your insurance company so you can be reimbursed for? What do you pick?
Me, I'm a business owner. I got a restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be at the store most likely when it get robbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if my employees call the police,
they fired.
They simply.
No, that's their job.
That's their job, right?
That's their right. That's their right. And everything missing. Everything missing.
Yeah.
Now the crook came out.
Everything.
Because they only took some money. Now they took the washing machine out the back.
Missing. They took all this.
I mean,
shout out to La Isla Spanish Restaurant, man. 2779 Dixwell Avenue. La Isla Spanish Restaurant, man.
And I'm coming for my Koki. I seen it. I screenshotted it. Got it saved in my phone. I want my bottle. I've been there, but I ain't get my bottle yet. You gotta get it for the holidays up.
Yeah, shout out to my beautiful wife for making that coquito. She's a beast with that.
I thought I was gonna have something to sip here today, but that's a whole nother story. So I guess I gotta take
it. We can take it on over there after the show, man. After the show, we can take it on over there, man. Quick question, right? Being a ex street dude, ex thug, and all that in the streets, you in the streets, you thugging, you at the height of thuggery. It's a serial killer next door.
Oh my God.
He killing up everything.
Question?
Hold on. He killing up everything. He wilding. You know he next door. What you doing? You moving? You let them kill up the whole neighborhood? Or somebody making that anonymous phone call? What's going on?
I don't know. I mean, listen. It's a
serial killer.
Hold up. Hold up. Is this? I want to answer right quick.
No, this old school thuggery man.
If you old school and you in that, and see, now you have to go back to living that culture.
Yeah.
Right? And the culture come with the code. So of course you're going to say that you're not calling.
Yeah.
No.
But if this dude kill your moms, or your sister, your little sister, your niece or somebody.
It's your fault.
Huh?
It's your fault.
You ain't called. So you knew he was killing them,
what if you
knew
do
the
this?
numbers was going to get dwindle and he got to get somebody.
What if you do this? Yo, there's a serial killer next door. Hey, baby, you know, it's a silly. You should get on the phone and you should.
Now you told.
No, I'm telling my.
You told.
I didn't tell.
You did tell.
She got on the phone.
If you told her, baby, you should get on the phone.
But listen, when dudes used to, back in the days, right?
Get on the phone.
Back in the days, when dudes used to get in stuff, right? And they got their girl car, their girl name. They tell her to call the police and report the car stolen.
That's right. Is there a difference?
Call the police, call the police. It just got shot up over here, or I just shot somebody over here and left the car because the police said call and report it stolen.
That's different because nobody stole the car.
Huh?
Nobody stole it.
Yeah, the police know that half the time the chicks be calling.
Yeah.
They wait to get you can bring your ass to this investigation room, tell you we're gonna take your kids, everybody, if you don't tell us who was driving that car tonight. Calling us talking about it was stolen.
Yeah.
Yo, that happened to somebody.
That happened to everybody.
No. So
my grandmother's car got stolen like 20 times.
But you was thugging then, so you probably weren't looking.
No, it never got stolen, but it got stolen 20 times.
So bring us through the you know, when you came in, you started adjusting to the prison. You know, how was that experience coming in as a juvenile lifer?
I mean, it was different. Well, prison different, the penitentiary different from how it was nowadays to when I came in. When I came in, it was gangs, like, you know what I'm saying? It was gang violence. It was at an all-time high. Prison, the riots was popping off in all the different prisons that were throughout the state. It was just different. So you had to tread lightly when you came in the prison, and it was about respect, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You had to show respect, and you was gonna get your respect like that.
Wow. So how, like, to deter the youth away from going to prison, what you would say to them?
I would sit them down and let them know about that third trajectory that I spoke about, man. Like, yo, you could be anything you want in this life, man, if you just put your efforts towards it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I never thought I would be an author.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That just came out of nowhere. We used to talk about that when we was up in Osborne, me and Ramel talking about, like, yo, he used to be like, yo, we should write a book. We should write a book. Dudes like, man, ain't nobody want to write no book. Nobody gonna write no book. Yeah. I got into the True program, and I was just started messing. And the reason why I was reluctant to write a book, I read Lord's book while he was handwriting every page of the Money, Murder, Mayhem joint. Yeah. The first one.
Money, Murder, and Drugs.
Drugs, yeah. Drug flow, yeah. So I read every page of that as he was writing it, hand in hand. When B.O. was writing his books in the penitentiary, I was reading his joints on paper. Rest in peace to the God. You know what I'm saying? And I was saying to myself, like, yo, I don't have time to write all of this down, then try to transfer it over to something digital.
All right, so we're talking about books. You got a book. What's the name of your book?
The name of my book is called The Model Inmate. The subtitle is Mind Over Matter, How I Became the Model Inmate. So this is my joint right here. Yeah. This is it.
The Model Inmate.
Mind Over Matter, How I Became the Model Inmate. My Ray V. Boyd, a.k.a. Rasan Allah. So, I wrote that joint in 2.5 months. I wrote 2 books before that. And the books that I wrote before that was a chronicle of short stories by a juvenile lifer. It's just short stories. It's more towards the adolescent audience. And then I wrote I Got Your Back, Moving Forward and Surviving Psychological Warfare in the American Prison System. And that book is just dealing with the psychological effects of prison, because people always talk about the physical effects of prison, you know, what they go through with COs and the assaults or the sexual assaults and things like that. But there's so many people that are suffering psychologically behind the walls, and they're suffering silently.
So I got to ask you a question. So we've been going over these questions with a few people. Do you feel like people who spent a lot of time in prison, 30 years, 25 years.
Yo, you know my number?
25 years.
All right, brother. Big.
What's my number?
17.
I did 20 altogether, though. It's a lot of time. But do these brothers who spent 5 years, 10 years or better, should they get professional help? Should they talk to somebody?
Most definitely.
Do you feel like you need to talk to somebody?
I wouldn't necessarily say professional. right? But you do have to have somebody to talk to.
But not professional help.
It doesn't necessarily have to be professional because you may have someone that you bond with or that you rock with. For me, it's my wife and my little brother. You know what I'm saying? Those are my go-to. So if I can't bounce something off of her, I'm gonna bounce it off my little brother, and they're gonna make sense of it. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it is coming home after all of this time, you gotta first be able to identify with who you are as a person and be able to say, yo, I need that or I don't need that. But I do think everybody needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of brothers coming home saying, yo, I don't need that. But again, they suffering in silence.
So, Darc and Moody.
What's up?
Not interviewing you, but I need to ask you, do you believe people coming home from a long stint need to talk to someone professionally?
Like Ray said,
Personally.
probably not professionally, but you do need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm having, you know, my little temper tantrums and stuff like
That's
that.
what you want to call it?
Yes. You know what I'm saying? But what I do is I easily go outside and I just look at the stars and I be like, yo, I'm free. What is you being angry about?
Yeah.
It's not to cut your wisdom, but it's good that he says, like, yo, I have temper tantrums, right? Because you got to look at it like this. The science, again, I'm always dealing with science. And when I say something, Google it. Don't just sit here and expect me to take it for me for face value. Google it. And if what I'm saying is wrong, you know what I'm saying, show and prove. You know, science has always told us that, yo, when you go to jail at a certain age, you come home at that age. Yeah. So at certain times, he's seeing his 17-year-old self manifest itself. You know what I'm saying? In his adult life.
And how old
because
were you
so many things.
How old were you?
I went in when I was 19, just 19. Turning 20. You know what I'm saying? So certain times, you still see that emphasis in me still coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that I get upset with quick. And my wife like, yo, why you get upset? But you know what I'm saying? That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally, I don't believe I need to talk to nobody personally.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm conflicted because I do believe that people who did a lot of time in prison need to talk to someone.
Mm-hmm. But why is it that okay? You may feel as though you don't need to talk to nobody because you may have found another outlet to expressing whatever it is you're expressing. It could be religion, it could be meditation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So people find different outlets.
My dean plays
basketball.
A major role in the reason why I feel like that, because I feel like, you know, I get on my knees and I pray. I talk to Allah. And but me having life in prison, 100 years, and being free right now, it's like I get on my knees and I thank the Most High. And when things not going my way, I revert back to that. So
I think when dudes come home,
that's how I talk.
And they bitter. Like when you bitter, yo, you need to see somebody.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And I think when because as men, when we grow and develop, we're supposed to accept responsibility for our ways and our actions. And once you accept that responsibility, I think certain burdens is lifted. You know what I'm saying? That you've been carrying around all of that time. So it makes your transition a lot smoother.
Wow.
You know?
But that's what I do. I told you, I really go outside and I go
look at the stars.
And I look at the stars and I go, whatever. I might be my wife, my kids. I might be like, my wife and me in the grocery store. I was in there for 2 hours. I'm mad.
Yeah.
My guys in jail would love to be in that grocery store.
I love the grocery store.
I hate the grocery
Word is
store.
gone. I love going to the grocery store.
You know where I go? I go to Five Below. That's why I snatched that candy as soon as I came.
I love going to the grocery store.
I go to little places. I go, get Charleston Chews and Chico's shit that I took for granted in my childhood.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? My wife want to go to the store. Certain days I get in the car with my wife, tell her, yo, wherever you want to go, let's go.
Let's go.
Whatever store you need to stop at, I'm here with you. I'm in the passenger seat.
I'm with the store.
Or
I'm with the 3 hours.
Yeah?
I ain't with the 3 hours.
But it's about sacrifice.
Yeah, no, of course. I'll be there with
her. And to her, that may be all that she needs from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to give it to her.
Yeah, I'll be there.
It could be that time alone, just walking side by side in the grocery store for 3 hours that she like, damn, I'm comfortable. I'm secure.
I see a ring, man. What's going on with that?
Hey, man, I put a ring on her finger. She put a ring on mine.
So you married or what?
Oh, mine's on paper. I got married in Miami.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the shout out to
Jackson
all the
and
wives
James.
out there, man.
Straight
Yeah,
from
the
the prison
wives out
cell.
there, man. You know,
Straight from the prison cell to the bedroom cell.
I didn't want to come. You know, it's this thing that everybody want to come home and play catch up.
Yeah,
I wanted to come home. I wanted a family.
fact.
So, in knowing what I want, I went after that. You know what I'm saying? That was my focus. You know, she and I have known each other over 40 years. You know, she saw my vision. She was aligned with my vision and what I wanted in life, and we making it happen. And every day, peaches and cream, emphatically no. But life and love is like, you know, that machine they hook you up in the hospital too with your heart monitor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Things are supposed to be up and down, and life is not supposed to be a flat line. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's a flat line, it ain't thriving.
Real. It's dead.
You know what I'm saying? So you're supposed to have your up and downs, and you know the moments that you peak and the moments that you low. But it's about, you know, how you survive the trials and tribulations of your union.
That's yours, or you stole that?
Nah, that's mine.
I like that.
And what I do for free, I would do for a fee. All I ask is that you pay attention, my G.
Hey, yo, listen, man.
We edited that part out, so y'all won't hear that part.
You know, and that's just what it is. So if you look at it like that, you always gonna see highs and lows.
That's
right?
real. I like
and
that.
That's the approach. But once your joint flatline, you know your relationship is over.
Yeah,
y'all can go y'all separate ways.
Word is bond. I'm using that.
You know?
I'm using that.
Hey, yo, listen, man. Parties too.
Word is bond. Get this book right here, man. My boy Ray Boy, the model inmate. You know what I mean? We're gonna come back on the show. We're gonna talk to y'all again.
Peace to the gods and the earths, man. The positive for the universe.
Tell the youth something, man. Tell the youth something in the old heads. Tell everybody something, man.
Oh man, let's build on today's supreme mathematics. Is build and destroy, man. So you know, constantly as you live and go throughout life, you know, you constantly build and destroying as simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of brothers. That's what we did throughout these years in prison. And what people are seeing is the aspect of the things that we built upon, and not the aspects of the things that we destroyed. You know, and the things that we destroyed is a lot of our past. And one of my elders always said, "Your past is like your ass. Is behind you and full of shit." So just look forward and keep moving forward in life, and you can have everything you want in life. And dealing with simultaneously, if you take 8 in the supreme mathematics is build and destroy. If you lay it on its side, it's the infinite sign. So everything is infinite in life. You know what I'm saying? Life in itself is infinite. There's nothing new under the sun. You're gonna keep growing and keep developing. And I just like what y'all brothers doing, man.
All right, facts. Yo, the model inmate, Ray Boy, Ray son-in-law.
Go get it. I read it.
You know what I mean? Peace. Hey, yo, y'all hungry? Go to La Isla Spanish Restaurant.
That's right. Get the cocaine, too.
Darc and Moody, all or nothing.
The more cocaine you drink, the more food you're going to eat.
I wished in 1992 when you came in, you met me in 1994 and gave me this book.
Yo, that book just came out, man. It's
the thought process has always been there, though.
True indeed.
It came out.
Salute to all the real ones out there, man. We out.
Peace.
Darc and Moody, all or nothing. Peace.